السلام عليكم. مباراة توظيف الأساتذة بالنسبة للتعليم الثانوي. تخصص اللغة الإنجليزية وكذلك ديداكتيك مادة التخصص. This exam is divided into four independent sections. So with section 1, reading comprehension, section 2, language, section 3, teaching methodology, and section 4, writing. So let's start today by section 2, language, and then we'll have section 3. Let's go straight to section 2, both language. Language. Underline the mistakes and correct them in the space provided. Okay. The biggest freshwater lake in the world is. So here we don't need the definite article. Okay, so this is a name of the lake. So no need for the. Number 22. While walking on the sidewalk. No, sorry, 2022. We were we were very pleased when our friends Hendersons became our neighbors. So here we need the definite article the, referring to family or group of people, family name of a group of people. So we need the here. While walking on the sidewalk, Mary found a girl's sparkly. All right, so a girl's sparkly bracelets. Number 24. I'm not used to getting up early in the morning. So getting, ing. Number 25. So it should be in the end. In the end, Sue was able to finish her homework. 26. Sammy works very hard. Very hard. So hard, it's an adverb. Very hard. He is a workaholic. 27. The resort I went to is an excellent one. I had during my vacation. So I had an incredible time. The 27. I had been sitting in my compartment for at least 10 minutes. So I had been sitting by myself. The primary concern of a businessman looking for someone for a job is to find the best qualified person. So we can say to hire someone. Okay, so the primary concern of businessmen looking for someone to hire for a job. Hire. A. 30. 30. Alan's new job is then his last one. he gets more money and he works fewer hours. So we'll go for rather better. That's 30. Okay? Rather better. What do you to do about the problem now that this solution has failed? So what do you attempt to do or intend? And we go, I think, for intend. Yeah, intend. What do you intend to do? Intend to do. I'm writing is to complain about, etc., etc. So 32. So the reason why I am writing is to complain about the poor standard of the service at your hotel. 33. Waste is the consequence of society which consumes more than any other nation. So, inevitable, inevitable for D. 34. I did not pass the examination, but I will do better next time. So I am disappointed. I'm disappointed. 35. They have a camera too. They have cameras too. Any possible robbery. So to prevent a robbery, to prevent it. All right. 36. We have been business with that firms for many years. So normally we say do business. Okay, we do business. So we have been doing, right? Doing business. Many young people practice extreme sport for the of excitement. So we say for the sake of, for the sake of excitement. Number 38. The old lady, well before her death. So the verb that goes with well is made. So the old lady made a well. Okay, made. Go to the cinema, then study English. So we'll go for A. I would rather go to the cinema than study English. If you had explained your problem to me, I to help you. I would have been able. I would have been. I would have been able. I wonder why they haven't arrived yet. I told him how to get there, but perhaps I I should have given him. I should have given him a map, but I did not. Okay, but I did not. I should have given him a map. 42. When I was at the cinema, I was surprised kids smoking cigarettes. So surprised to. Surprised to see. So 42 goes with D. she unwell for several days when she was taken to hospital. That's 43. So she had been feeling unwell. I wish the teacher more about the exam before it took place. So I wish the teacher had told the past perfect, had told us. He had a broken leg. He continued to go, he continued, he continued to go to class. So, in spite, in spite of the fact, can we say that? In spite of the fact that, yeah, in spite of the fact that he had a broken leg, he continued to go to class. Jane was born. Jane was born because we have September the 9th. So we go for on September the 9th. That 46. He is a man devoid of devoid of all fine feelings. 48. I came at the big hotel 2 weeks ago. So I came across someone or something. 49. They us just because we are poor. So they on look down on us. So to think you think that you are more important than other people. Look down on. He couldn't he could not live in his hometown forever. So he couldn't uh we say he couldn't bear the thoughts. Bear. He couldn't bear the thought of leaving. That's an expression in English. Bear the thoughts. Now let's move to section 3, teaching methodology. So here we have concepts and we have definitions. Let's start, for example, by editing. Editing. So editing is when learners work on their written products to correct spelling, punctuation, and grammar mistakes. That's editing. Your student corrects their work when it comes to spelling, punctuation, and grammar mistakes. That's editing. Now, chunks. So, chunks are fixed or semi fixed expressions learned and retrieved as a whole unit and employed on specific occasion. So sometimes you can learn them as chunks. You can learn words as chunks or as a whole units rather than individual words. Oh, now let's go for drills. So drills are exercises used to practice language item through repetition. Through repetition. Example. Now, recycling. 51. Why is this one? Is G. teaching method in which teachers review vocabulary or skills that have already been taught by including them in meaningful activities in subsequent lessons. So you review something or that has been already been taught, all right, in another lesson, in a new lesson. 52. Learner training. So learner training is teaching learners how best to learn. It includes encouraging them to think about how they record vocabulary and how to continue their learning outside the classroom. Now 53. So here the students are the center of learning. 53. And then it's the approach in which students are actively engaged, and the teacher plays the role of the monitor and classroom manager. Now let's move to the next. Provide the missing words. The first letter is given. When you teach English as foreign language, you will teach vocabulary, pronunciation, and a word that starts with a G, and grammar. So G, let's see if we can write it. Uh, Eraser. Let's see if I can write the word draw. It's a grammar. Highlighter, the pen. So grammar. So GRA double M and then A and then R. Okay, so grammar. So you teach vocabulary, pronunciation, and grammar. You will also cover the 4 key, we say, language skills: reading, writing, listening, and speaking. And then skills. So K I double L and S. Skills. You will probably use a word which starts with M, which generally includes student book, a workbook, and the teacher's guide. So materials: Materials, right? Materials. With young learners, you may need additional support, such as a word starts with V and 8. So sometimes you can use visual aids. So VISUAL. Okay, and then A and L. Visual aids like pictures, all right? Pictures, maybe videos, things that the students can see. Visual aids. Next, choose the correct answer. Which of the following is writing subskills? Which one is subskill? Is writing subskills. So this one, C, using cohesive devices. Next, so we can move to the next. Okay. Next, please. 62. Which of the following is not a part of typical grammar lesson? So the right answer is B. Right? B. Next, let me erase this one. I need to erase. Draw eraser. Okay. 63. In her lesson, Emma asked students to listen to a dialogue, repeat, memorize, and perform. Which method is the teacher adopting? Grammar translation method, or audiolingual method, or direct method, or silent way? So normally when student listen and repeat, memorize, that's an audiolingual method. So we go for C. Let's see, okay. So let's see. Mhm, erase. That's okay. This is draw. Um, Nation. Okay, pen. All right. So the right answer is audiolingual method. 64. Which of the following is not true about project work? Which one? A purposeful activity, okay. Social proceed in social environment, okay. Accomplish in real life, okay. But it's not a teacher-centered activity. So this one is not. It should not be a teacher. It should be student-centered rather than a teacher. So that's one. 64. 65. Brainstorming, role playing, practice, and repetition. Everyone shares their thoughts on a topic or issue. That's what we call brainstorming, okay? Brainstorming. Next. 66. The official guidelines for teaching English in Morocco states that the aims of the curriculum are in conformity with four sets of values outlined in the National Charter for Education and Training. The underlined word refer to. So aims, this word, does it refer to A, school expectations, learner expectations, national expectation, teacher expectations? So when we talk about the aims of the curriculum, that's at the national level. It's not at the school level or learner or teacher, but it's national level. It's the curriculum outlined by the maybe or for example by the Ministry of Education or the National Charter for Education and Training. So the right answer here is B. Okay, B. National expectation. In education, scaffolding means. So what does scaffolding means? So scaffolding is when you give support, when you support your learners in solving learning problems. Okay, that's scaffolding. So it's going to be C. Next, relying on the linguistic relying on the linguistic data presented by the text in comprehension is called bottom-up processing, critical thinking, etc. So what do you think about 68? So it's going to be A, bottom-up, bottom-up processing. 69. 69. Which of the following is not an example of alternative assessment? So assessment, we have a traditional way of assessment. That's the one that's when we have an exam. That's the traditional one. Alternative assessment is not. So alternative assessment can be a quiz, it can be a project, it can be an interview. So the right answer here is C. C. Next. In reading comprehension lesson, in reading comprehension lesson, the teacher asks students to read the text title and subtitles in the text and choose the main idea. This reading strategy is called. What do we call this reading strategy? When the student can read the title, subtitles, and then they can have the main idea. So when you look for the main idea in a text, that strategy is called skimming. All right, skimming. This one. Skimming. So you look for the main idea. Next, 71. In her writing lesson, in her writing lesson, Mrs. Erickson often gives her student model. So she gives her student model and then asks them to create something similar. In this way, she is adopting what's something, an approach to writing. Which one do you think? It is prescriptive, descriptive approach, process, or product. So here the focus is a product rather than process because she gives a model to the student as a product. So we'll go for D. Next, which of the following tasks would you likely not see in a listening comprehension lesson? So summarize, okay, you can summarize the information that you can hear. You can summarize, you can write down the end of the story, you can fill in charted information. But this one, I think this one is not. Listen, repeat the word with E sound. Next. 30, 73. You know, 73, please. A short activity that is used to prepare student for the lesson is called. It's called a warmer or a warm up. You prepare student for the lesson. You prepare them. 74. When preparing a reading lesson, Mr. Karimi realizes that the text is loaded with new unknown words. Before dealing with the text, Mr. Karimi should A. Ask student to check all the words using their dictionaries, or deal with the text the way it is, or pre-teach all the new words separately before he starts dealing with the text, or pre-teach only the words that are necessary for the text comprehension. So here we go for D. So when a teacher is preparing a reading a text for the students, what he can do before reading a text, he can help students or prepare them by introducing only the words that are necessary. Only the words, not all the words in the text. Only those words that are necessary for understanding a text. And that's pre-teaching. That is done before students start reading a text. Okay, next. At the beginning, at the beginning of each year, teachers give their students a test to assess their basic abilities so that they can determine which part of the curriculum to start with. This test is an example of that's what we call diagnostic test. Okay, diagnostic test. 76. Elizabeth says that her language course is organized around topics like family, work, seasons, etc. This type of course is referred to as a course. Is it skilled based or grammar based, theme based or function based? So because the course is organized around topics, then it's going to be theme based. It is based on themes, not on grammar or skills or functions, or theme based. Next. Which one now? 77. 77. Which of the following is more likely to follow the presentation stage of a structure in a grammar lesson? So the first stage is presentation, meaning a teacher presents a vocabulary or grammar lesson. He will present language. And after that, what's the next stage? So the next stage is practice. Presentation, the first stage, and practice the second stage. That's why we'll go for A. We'll go for A. Because we have here doing practice exercises about the target structure. Next. We are now in the 70 78. 78, right? That is 78. This one. Which which of these activities can be used to focus on fluency? Fluency. Students match the beginnings, the complete sentence, and describe pictures, and describe pictures using given words. So if you focus more on fluency, then students describe pictures using their own words. Their own words. That's why we go for C. We go for C. This one. To teach expression, kick the buckets, it is better to. So let's say you are teaching this expression, kick the bucket. Kick the bucket. Is it better to teach the meaning of kick and then teach the meaning of the expression as a whole? Or teach the meaning of the expression without teaching the meaning of the two words? Or teach the meaning of the two words without teaching the meaning of an expression? Or teach the meaning of the buckets and then teach the meaning of the expression? So because this is an expression in English, and the meaning of this expression has nothing to do with the meaning of each word, because it is an idiom in English. So the best way to teach this expression is to teach the meaning of this expression without teaching the meaning of the words, because the meaning of words doesn't give you, or doesn't give the learners, the meaning of the idiom, which means to die. All right. 80. Schemata. So schemata is, or refers to, uh, learners existing background knowledge. So learners, when they come to your class, they come with background knowledge, with existing background knowledge. So we'll go for C. All right, so let's see. Okay. Now we have section about writing. Uh, Section writing. We teach individual. We teach individual learners who not only learn in different ways, but also have multiple intelligences and learning styles. Write an essay in which you discuss this statement by giving examples of different learning styles and how you would target them in your teaching practice. So here we need to write about the student who have mixed abilities in classroom. As you know, in every class we have multiple abilities. Some students are more intelligent than others. Some students struggle with language. Some of them have difficulties in understanding. So how can you include everybody in your classroom? One of the things you can do is you can classify them into groups, for example, or you can give them different worksheets depending on your abilities, or you can give some of them extra support so that they can so that they can so that you can help them achieve some learning objectives and make progress in their learning. All right. So mm, this is for writing part one. Part two. One of the aims, one of the aims set forth in the Moroccan EFL curriculum is to develop the communicative competence necessary for a real life variety of real life purposes. Write an essay in which you explain why teachers in Morocco should focus on developing learners' communicative competence. So here you can focus on some activities and practices you integrate in your classroom to assist learners to develop communicative competence. So communicative competence goes beyond grammar so that learners can communicate. So communication can be oral and also can be written. So students can for example uh, uh, engage in dialogues in real life scenarios when they can express themselves. They can ask for help. For example, they can show directions. So you put them in real scenarios when they can use language in a meaningful situation. So well, as a teacher, you need to integrate those activities that help students communicate rather than teaching, for example, only grammar separately and not related to the communicative aspect of language. Now, let's talk a little bit about reading part. So, for reading, we have this text, and this text we have paragraphs. So, we have paragraph one, and then paragraph two is there are three, five, six, and seven. We have 10 paragraphs. Let's see some questions. Reading questions. Example, you have this one. Choose the best answer. The best title for the text is. So this type of questions, you don't have to read the whole text, but you can do what we call skimming. You can look at the title or subtitle or the introduction or sometimes the conclusion, and you can get the general idea of the text. Now let's have a look at the title, if we have a title, and also the first paragraph, and then let's try to answer the first question, the best title for the text. This is paragraph one. So we have some times to read the first paragraph only, and then we can try to answer the first question. So we have after 2 decades of education debate, and we have a chance to for a fresh start. There is a growing movement dedicated to social, emotional, academic well-being of children, reshaping learning. One of the strength of this nation or at hope. Then a nation at risk is finally a nation at hope. Familiar argument over national standard. Authority and power to community. The future of education, placing the future of education more directly in the hands of parent teachers and school leaders. And this presents an obligation and opportunity. So if we go to the question one, so the best title for the text would be this one, Nation at Hope. Now, paragraph two, you have this word devolution. Devolution in paragraph two. What does it mean? So, does it give more freedom to parent, or give more freedom to children, or more power to adults, or more power to local authorities and communities? So, which one in paragraph two? Devolution. Now, let's go to paragraph two, devolution. And now we can have we can look for specific details for a sorry for a for some specific details here regarding devolution. Devolution. So devolution creates an obligation, okay, on the part of adult to use their influence in creative, okay, effective in a way that in effective ways to serve every student. So local control is not, it is a broader distribution responsibility. This sense of obligation. So we're talking here about local control. So if you go to the multiple choices for number two, so devolution means to give more power to local authorities. Okay. So two goes for D. Give more power to give more power to local authorities and communities in educational decisions. The same paragraph, which is paragraph two, by saying I don't teach math, I teach kids math. The teacher want to say that is concerned with the subject or more concerned with the child as a human being or more interest experience or more concerned with the subject he teaches. So if you go to the paragraph, so here we can guess that here we are dealing with human beings. So that's why here we have I teach kids, which means I am more concerned with the child as a human being. So I treat my students as human beings rather than teach, for example, a subject without taking into consideration the humanistic aspects of my learners as human beings, as people with emotions and feelings and so on. So if you go to paragraph two, we have I do not teach math, I teach kids math. And here we have children learn children learn best when we treat them as human beings. Children learn best when we treat them as human beings, with social and emotional as well as academic needs. That's why we'll go for number three. We'll go for B. Which of the following is a skill? Skill normally critical thinking. So critical thinking is one of the skills teachers need to develop or to help learners to develop. So that's one of the one of the skills. We have this phrase unsuspected gifts in paragraph 4. So paragraph 4, unsuspected gifts. Wait here. Sorry. Unsuspected. Which question was it? Uh, yeah. So unsuspected. Unsuspect paragraph 4. This one. So it's the reason. So it's the reason that community encourage is the reason the good teacher can change lives. It's the reason that good teachers can change lives, helping students find unsuspected gifts. So we can guess here that some students have hidden gifts or talents, and the teachers can discover those gifts. In this sense, in this sense, unsuspected gift refer to kids' hidden talent and uh, potential potential. This word in English, consensus, normally means agreement. So people agree on certain issue. Consensus means agreement. Success in school should not be defined just by our test scores, not only by tests, showing that the student is against measuring their success only by. So we should not focus only on the academic aspects. We should also we should also take into consideration the social and emotional socio-emotional needs of learners. So it should not be limited only on academic learning, only on academic. So that's for the number 8. Trivial. Trivials in English means something not important. Trivial. So trivial, something unimportant. If you know it already, no need to refer to the text. Otherwise, you need to go to the text and guess the meaning from the context. If you do not know the word already. Okay. So the main purpose of the writer is, so here also the main idea, the present facts about American education, present information about the socio-economical approach, defend the position of the whole learners, criticize the American education. No, no. Then here we go for the whole learner. If you remember, we have talked about the emotional, social aspects of learners, and we should treat them as human being. Okay, as human beings. So we go for a C. Defend the adoption of the whole learner approach. What do the underlined phrases refer to in the indicated paragraph? So in paragraph 4, we have these needs in paragraph 4. These needs. So since all education involves social, emotional, and academic learning, we have but two choices. We can either ignore that fact and accept disappointing results, or address these needs intentionally and well. So here we are talking about social, social, emotional, and academic needs, or learning. Sorry, and learning. This one. So we are talking about social, emotional, and academic learning. Capabilities. These capabilities in paragraph 7. Paragraph 7, this one. These capabilities, these capabilities. So analysis of more than social, emotional, improves behavior in both school. Most important when children motivated, when children when children are motivated, responsible, and focused, they are more persist in hard tasks, which is this capability booster rocket everything measure. There are capabilities. So when children are motivated, so they are motivated, responsible, and focused. Okay, that's these capabilities. Okay, so we are talking about motivated, so they are motivated. So capabilities means abilities of students, so they are motivated, they are responsible, and they are focused. So when they are motivated, responsible, and focused, they are more able to persist in hard task. All right, so we refer back to these capabilities. Next. Then we have them, paragraph 10. Paragraph 10, we have the word them. So, hope is the appeal of values such as perseverance, hard work, and human decency. Confidence that young women confidence that young women and men of every background, like generations before them, like generation, like generations before them, will be challenged, transformed, and empowered by contact ideas demonstrated in the lives of caring adults around them. So, with them refers back to young women and men. Okay? Young women and men of every background. Now, answer the following questions. In paragraph in paragraph 4, the writer says this calling is an honor but not an elective. What does this calling refer to? This calling. So let's go to what does this calling refer to in paragraph 4. Let's see. It's paragraph 4. See, this calling is an honor but not an elective. So, to foster in children the knowledge, the skills, and the character that enable them to make better lives in a better country. This calling. So this refers to what has already been mentioned. Okay, so to foster to foster in children the knowledge, the knowledge, the skills, and the character that enable them to make better lives in a better country. Next. What does the writer mean? What does the writer mean by saying the calling is not an elective? Is not an elective. So he means that it's not a matter of choice. If it's not a matter of choice, it's the only solution. Okay? So it's not a matter of choice, it's the only solution to the educational system. If ignored, the ultimate result will be failure. Okay, then I will stop here for today. I hope you find this video helpful. وكانت هذه نماذج من مباراة الأساتذة لتوظيف الأساتذة للتعليم الثانوي، تخصص اللغة الإنجليزية. إذا أشكركم وإلى اللقاء. السلام عليكم.